What is going on, everyone? I am Fiston, and this is the fourth game of the Europa Barbarorum League Season 2. I've been delayed in recording this video because I streamed the first 4 games live, but then the fourth game, or what was supposed to be the fourth game in the series, has been invalidated due to several reasons, and so the matchup Pahlava versus Bactria is no more valid for the result of the tournament, and the two players had to replay and to meet once again on the battlefield with the following matchup. So they just moved on in their scheduled matchups and they met with different factions on a different map. So without further ado, let's get into this game. So far, Bracer Robin is up 3-0 on GameGeek 2, and he's thus reaching the match point. One more victory for Bracer Robin, and the game, or the series, is over with a win. Will GameGeek be able to pull out a reverse sweep or not? We will see. And here we are in the fourth game of the league. So let's check factions out. So GameGeek is playing as the Saka Rauka, while Bracer Robin is playing as the Getai. Let's fast forward. Come on, alright. Let's fast forward while we check the deployment and the army. So GameGeek has 2 Subeshi archers, which is a standard choice for foot archers for Saka. His main line is composed of 4 Hoplitai Hellenikon, 2 Hoplitai Indo-Hellenikoi, 1 on each flank, 2 Peltastai Indo-Hellenikoi, Javelin men, skirmishers as a backup, 2 of those, 1 unit of Pantodapoi, Levi spearmen, his general, which is the early version of the bodyguard, of the Saka bodyguard, the one with bows, 1 unit of slingers, Shubani Fradakshana, late elite cataphracts, a full unit of those, which is expected. And this is the main body of the army. Let's check his left wing and then his right wing. We have 2 units of Asabarai, Saka riders, pretty standard choice as well. And on the right wing we have another unit of Asabarai with UZ horse archers as well. You can see these recurve bows, which were feared for their power and range. And 2 units, it seems, of Saka horse archer cataphracts, the armored nobles. And that's for the Saka army. And now his opponent, Bracer Robin, has finished deployment, so let's check his army out. 2 units of Scythian foot archers. Bracer Robin seems to love this unit. Then we have 4 units of Komatai Thorokitai Stratiotai. Actually no, that's 3 of those. Heavy spear phalanx from the Dacians, which is a good choice in this matchup because of the abundance of cavalry. 3 units of Tequitos, axemen with AP, secondary weapons, which is extremely effective against Saka mainline. 2 units of Riballoi, heavy swordsmen. 1 unit of Thracian Peltas or Thracioi Peltastai, decent choice. Gairoas, Celtic spearmen. They are slightly superior to the Pantodapoi, but they also cost more. Phylaces Daoi as a general, and it looks like 1 unit of Komatai Agrianai elite archers in reserve, as well as 2 Tarabostes, which are the bodyguard, sort of the bodyguard cavalry, actually more noble cavalry. These guys were composed of the upper class nobility from Dacian tribes. That's his main body. Now for his left wing he has 1 unit of Ktistai, very predictable, elite horse archers, another unit of Komatai Agrianai. These guys were the ones in the main line, and then Komatai Spendonetai, slingers, which are, I think, targeting the armored nobles. You see there are several arrows flying in the skies as well as rain. On this wing, these guys were, the ones that I looked at before. These guys weren't, so another unit for a total of 3 Komatai Agrianai. And that's it looks like. So, a good army with a lot of defensive value, but also a lot of offensive value on his infantry. The defensive value of this army that I'm referring to is mainly on the archer contingent, of course. So I'm referring to the skirmish phase defensive capabilities, which is expected because the opponent, the Saka, really excel in the skirmish department and in the skirmish phase, being a horse archer faction. The map looks to be Pripyat marshes, so a very flat map, as in the previous 3 matchups, no features whatsoever. And the weather was rainy until like a minute ago, and then the rain stopped. This isn't very influential, I think, because both factions are archer heavy, so they are penalized in equal manner, I guess, by rain. But now the rain is over, so it's fine. Looks like Game Geek is closing the distance for some reason. And yeah, right now the main goal of the Getai is to deplete the plentiful arrows, the plentiful ammos of the Saka player, without taking too much damage in the important contingents of his army, which is the infantry and the heavy cavalry. So he basically has to stop these horse archers from coming very close and getting flank and back shots on his infantry, as well as getting some nice sling volleys on the Saka armored nobles, which do not have a shield and they are heavily armored, so they are pretty arrow resistant, but they are very vulnerable to armor piercing sling bullets. And maybe you can even get some lucky shots to these heavy cataracts if Game Geek is not careful and exposes them, like here. On the other hand, the goal of the Saka is to get as much damage as possible on the infantry. Because right now, the infantry contingent from the Getai heavily outclasses the Saka infantry. I mean, Hoplita Hellenicon are nice being hoplites. They can resist for quite some time, they're sturdy, they're reliable, but they can hardly match up with as much infantry as the Getai do have in this battle, especially the Triballoi. Triballoi are really an excellent unit in melee, and Taquitos as well. These vicious axes can really do a number on hoplites and hoplite type infantry, like also these Hoplita Indo-Hellenicoi. And these guys are not really good in melee. So the main goal is to get as close as possible with your horse archers and getting flank shots, especially on the Taquitos and the Triballoi, I would say. The fact that these guys are quite close to each other kind of facilitates the task, because you can deploy horse archers like here, if this unit wasn't here, of course, and just shoot at this unit in the center and get some overshooting onto this unit, some undershooting onto this unit, and some flank shooting on these two units due to projectile dispersion, due to not 100% accuracy in this game, of course. So you really have to inflict casualties on these guys, otherwise they will just roll over your infantry. So how do you play this Saka army? Basically, there are no offensive troops. Saka have access to some offensive troops like Hillmen, Axemen, and of course the much dreaded Srenis, the Indian guild warriors, which have those vicious sword axes which are armor piercing, and they're heavily armored, heavily motivated. They're a really great unit in melee. But we do not see them. We do not see the Agema either. We do not see elite Indo-Hellenic hoplites. We don't see like the key shock units that are available to the Saka army. We do see. I'll just fast forward this. This is just skirmishing and shooting arrows here and there. We see only defensive units, basically hoplites, heavy hoplites, Indo-Hellenic hoplites. Not really great units in killing power. That's on purpose, of course, because of the 3 cataphracts units. Actually 4 if you count the armored nobles, the Saka general. And basically, yeah, you want to have a pincushion, you want to have something to stall the enemy infantry with. So these guys are not very good at killing, these guys are very good at not being killed, at not dying. And that's the key of this army. The idea, Game Geek's idea, I think, is probably to block units with this infantry contingent and then charge them with his cavalry, with his extremely superior cavalry, and rout them. But to do this, you really have to deplete these guys, because you want your charges to be critical. Because if these guys, oh, by the way, Brace Robin retired, moved back. He's Getai Stratiotai. This is a good move. Taquitos are better suited to fight Getai Hellenicoi. There's one factor though that needs to be considered. Tarabostas do have a secondary weapon, while most of Game Geek's army, actually most of Game Geek's cavalry, do not have a secondary weapon that is very well suited for melee combat. Because these guys have a bow and then a lance. And this is the same for the bodyguard cavalry. And also the same for the horse archers. I think these guys have overhand spears. Or maybe swords, not sure. The only cavalry that is pretty good at killing in a prolonged melee are the heavy elite cavalrymen. But that's only one. These are two units. So unless you get a really good charge with your armored horse archers on these guys, I do not see the cavalry fight in a big favor for the Saka in this specific setup, which may be a problem, you know, because your cavalry has to protect your infantry from enemy cavalry and also has to charge enemy infantry at the same time to protect again your infantry from dying to these axes. Here Game Geek is doing what he should do actually. These guys finished ambush, but these guys still have arrows. And I think he's shooting at this unit in the middle. Yeah, I see arrows raining down. This is the correct play. This comes a bit late though, I think. I think he lost too much time in skirmishing with other units, with other missile units, rather than focusing on this infantry. But he's inflicting nice casualties, like these guys lost 20 men, these guys lost a couple, these guys lost a couple too, they lost 6 men, 3 men here, couple here. These are nice casualties. And we have a fight here. Nice charge. But these archers should be in the melee as well. Otherwise this cavalry will die to this skip unit. They came a bit late. Yeah, the cavalry routes. That's unfortunate. But anyway, you see how 2/3 of the battle was just skirmishing. And do not underestimate this time, because this is what decides the outcome of the battle ultimately. I guess Game Geek, yeah, this is still going on, but this is not very influential. I guess Robin will commence his attack very soon, because he cannot afford to lose more men. Also, the general has a really high accuracy with his arrows and still has some. And I think Game Geek is moving him and his unit a bit closer. Maybe here would be okay as well, to get some shots as well. And I don't think Bruce Robin will allow this. Oh, these guys lost 30 men now. Here they lost a couple more, as well as here. So yeah, these guys are really depleted. So will this be enough? It looks like Bracer Robin's launching his attack. Will the range damage that Game Geek did will be enough to win the infantry engagement, or to stall it enough? This is very nice by Game Geek, by the way. charging in, closing the distance to deny the charge bonus from the taquitos. Pretty nice. He got 10 kills on the charge on these taquitos. Hoplites have a vicious charge. These guys are in reserve. Pretty good. And note how most of the Saka cavalry are here. What is this? Okay. Most of the Saka cavalry are concentrated on this flank. So Bruce Robin is responding with placing his Torakita Stratiotai over here. What is this general doing? He was lucky he got in a charge. But he lost a ton of men. And here we have the first rout. But these hoplitai are extremely out of position. Oh, this is a bad mistake by Game Geek. These hoplitai are extremely out of position. They are really exposed. This charge, I don't think this is doing much. Yeah, exactly. You saw these spearmen were braced for impact, so this charge didn't do much. Oh man, these hoplitai. This may actually decide the battle. These hoplitai routed the taquitos, which I think already came back. Yes, here they are. There's still 63 of them. They routed the taquitos and then they followed up with a pursuit. But that pursuit put them in a really disadvantageous position, like out of the line. This is, yeah. This is extremely influential. Yeah, you see how this route influences also this route. Like this guy is routing at 71. Oh man, this is a disaster. You see how these things influence. How these small things influence the battle. This is insane. We have the Saka characters getting in a good charge. I think this was a pretty good charge. Yeah, you see how one charge from these guys really can do damage. But now the situation is extremely bad. These Indo-Hellenic hoplites just routing without having achieved anything. I think this is really bad. So you see now that Game Geek does not have enough infantry to support his cataphracts and to stall the enemy infantry. Oh, this is looking really grim. This charge was absolutely devastating. Wow, this routed 3 Getai units. You see how devastating can be a cataphract charge. But at the same time, this cavalry, it looks like this cavalry completely annihilated one unit of Saka armored nobles. And this is what I was talking about before. Like, it's the fact that Saka armored nobles are not really suited to fight cavalry. And probably having the elite cataphracts fighting these Tarabostes would have been better. And the same is true for the general. This guy can die right here. Yep, he dies. That's terrible for the Saka. Again, he couldn't stand against the better melee cavalry of the Getai. And now, yeah, now that the general is dead, everything's routing here. Yeah, look. 5 units routing in 10 seconds. These guys can charge. Getai route something maybe. But they probably, yeah. And Game Geek admits defeat. Wow. This was a slow game at the beginning, but then everything happened in the last third of the battle. And it was so hectic, and so many things happened all together. But yeah, I think the main reason for the Saka defeat was not doing enough damage to the Getik main line, and then losing that hoplite unit that was pursuing and broke formation. And breaking formation is not really something you want in this type of game if you play a certain army setup. Yeah, you can see in the casualties. Cavalry did okay, I guess. These armored nobles not great. These two units pretty nice. The horse archers did terrible. They were absolutely disgusting. Yeah, this is a problem. They didn't do enough casualties. Probably they shot too many arrows on archers in loose formation, and not enough arrows into infantry. You see, when foot archers get more kills than horse archers, this is a problem. Slingers didn't do much. That's expected, having seen the Barbarorum army. These guys didn't do anything, basically. I don't even know where they shot their javelins, but it seems that those weren't really effective. And the Saka hoplite, so this is horrifying. Look at this. 43 kills tops. That's really bad. And the Peltas and the Hoplita Indo-Hellenikoi, who did only 7 kills and lost 86 men. This is crushing. Anyway, this was the fourth game in the series, which brings Barbarorum to 4-0. And yeah, we'll just check the scoreboard out. There we go. So this gets changed to 4-0. And this gets changed as well. Here we go. There we go. So the final result of the finals of the EB League Season 2 is 4-0 to Barbarorum, which is now the champion. So congrats to Barbarorum. Thanks for watching. This has been an amazing series, and I hope to see you again very soon with other online battles and other tournaments.